All right, so we are back with some more quarantine content. Quarantine. Okay, so we are ranking the Office characters or the characters from the Office, and we're going to do the main 15. So don't at me with all the randos. All right, so for all the lovers of the Office, I think most of us understand that this is going to be pretty easy at the top and the bottom. It's the middle where it really gets tricky. Now, I wrote this down last week. I'm just now recording, and so I'm curious to see. I'm reading off my list, but I'm curious to see if I disagree with myself. But we will see. We're going to go from top to bottom. I think it's more dramatic that way, and then I'll kind of talk about why I picked who. So anyway, number one out of The Office, and we're talking about the US version, don't at me with the UK version. Number one is Michael Scott. I mean, the show. Now, I will say this. Let me say this, because I've never had a chance to talk about this. The whole debate or discussion that The Office fell off when Michael Scott left, I don't agree with. I don't think it was the same level, but to say that it fell off like it wasn't good is not true to me. I think it was brilliant when they brought in some legends for a little cameo to replace Michael Scott. So you had Jim Carrey, Ray Romano, Will Ferrell. I don't remember who else was in that, but it was a great touch. And then of course they went with Will Ferrell, who was funny, and then he ended up leaving. But okay, cool. And then I know they focused on Andy, who was definitely not as good as Michael Scott, but I still think the storylines were great. And to me personally, I feel like The Office got a little more real and dramatic once Michael left. Not to say that it still wasn't funny, but I feel like it had a little more heart to it in certain aspects. So it was definitely not as good, but it was still good. But anyway, Michael Scott, Scott's Tots, I mean, you can't say anything really too much. I mean, everything was about Steve Carell. And the fact that he went on to right now be a pretty good dramatic actor, I think it started off really high. And I'm still waiting to see, because I think he could be a perennial Oscar type actor. But the man's good. The man is beyond good. And to think he started as Michael Scott. I mean, I don't know. There's so much to talk about. Tell me some of the favorite Michael Scott moments. I've rewatched The Office many times. I need to rewatch it again though recently to kind of think. But Scott's Tots, comes to mind. Definitely when he hit Meredith with the car comes to mind. It's a lot of funny stuff. And then the whole wedding thing with him and Dwight trying to fight to see who could sleep with somebody, that was good stuff. And was it Pam's mom he was with? I don't know. That stuff's hilarious. But anyway, that's number one. Number two, I'm going with Dwight. Now, I personally think there's no other choice that could even go here, because I think 1 and 2 are vastly locked in. Dwight is hilarious. I mean, the show is focused on Michael, and sometimes you can be in the number 2 spot and be great. So I can't even say Dwight's number 1 because he doesn't have the same screen time, even with the seasons after Michael. But he's close, man. Dwight is hilarious, but I don't know in a full-time role if the character is as funny as he is. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but my favorite Dwight moment, whenever I think about Dwight, and there's so many one. Of course, you got the fire, the cold open with the fire and the fire drill. But for me, the number 1 moment is the snowman fight with Jim. The ending scene where he sets up all the snowmen in the parking lot and Jim is going nuts, and then you just pan up and you see Dwight standing on the roof. It was hilarious. Although, hold on, let me throw in another one. I forgot what episode he was even talking about, but he was just talking about how he would marry the heiress of the diamond thing and steal the diamonds and move away. Like that whole monologue, that was freaking hilarious. So Dwight's number 2. Number 3 is where it got hard for me. I don't know. I know some people probably have like 3 or 4 or 5 that they really locked in. For me, it was just 1 and 2. Everything else was up in the air. Number 3, I didn't want to put this person because I like them, but I felt like I don't like them as much as other people. But really looking at the roster, I didn't have anybody I put over him. So I put Jim. Jim is my number 3, which is probably a lot of people's number 3 or 2. And I like Jim, but I didn't like the snarky thing. Like, I'm just upset I didn't like it. You know, obviously you can like it within the context of the show, but you don't gravitate towards the character the same way because they might not be your type of person. So Jim was always too cool for school and all that, and snarky. He did have good comebacks. He's funny, and I like John Krasinski. I like what he's doing now. So obviously I like Jim. I just wouldn't say it was my favorite personality wise, but I like Jim, and I think it's a function of screen time. He had a lot of screen time when Michael left. He became like, you know, one of the big players, so he had a lot more to do, and I think by default he goes to 3. When I try to think of some best Jim moments, I mean, the pranks are all funny. See, that's the thing. Nothing like stands out because Jim's all low key. I do like a lot of his pranks. I kind of like the Megadeth, like when him and Dwight kept going back and forth to Megadeth. I like that. Angela is my number 4. Yes, it was. Now after Jim, it was completely, you know, Wild Wild West. I picked Angela because Angela is hilarious. She's unapologetically herself, and she really, like, there's comedy that just comes from her being her. Like when she set up the nanny cam for her cats, and Oscar and Kevin were watching her on the nanny cam because she forgot it was there, and she's just like cleaning the cats and kissing them and stuff. And it's just like her funny stuff never came outside of her character. And I think that's the same for Dwight. It's just like that's who she was. And so she was always unapologetic about it too. Like she was just bogus, and with the party planning committee, all that, it was just funny. So I liked her. Obviously, she's not super likable to a lot of people, but I just think she was funny. So I like Angela for just being her. Number 5, I got Andy, the Nard dog. And this is another function of screen time. When you really think about, what is his name? Ed Helms taking over for Steve Carell after he left, and Ed Helms doing The Hangover and becoming popular. They gave him a lot of screen time. He did a lot of ridiculous stuff. I like it. Was funny because it gets lost towards the end, but in the beginning he had anger management issues, which is just funny to me. And then his whole love for Cornell, just like living in the glory days, is funny. But the thing that comes up for me with Andy is the Sweeney Todd. Now that's definitely more biased towards me because I discovered Sweeney Todd in a weird way, and it was a real big part of my high school career. And so when they popped up on The Office, and I didn't watch The Office till I got to college, so I was behind the 8 ball. But when I saw it on The Office, I was like, oh my God, Sweeney Todd. But like you got to see him sing and act, and that was just a good episode overall. Number 6, which really could have been my number 5, is Oscar the Grouch. I love Oscar. Oscar is, you know what, and people don't really talk about this. In a time that was way before the PC culture, they did, gay character right. Like they did not put, oh, he's gay in your face type, whatever. And that can work, and certainly that's fine, but I just think it was like Oscar was Oscar. He's gay, but the first thing you think about if you're an Office fan and you say Oscar, you don't always just think, oh, he's gay. No, you think about like the funny moments. He's very analytical. He loves the numbers. He's like the opposite of Michael Scott. He's just like, Michael, like, you're doing stupid stuff. And even though when it comes time for him to do something, he punks out too, which is funny. Because they had the episode when Scranton was like number one in sales or something, and they invited Michael to the big meeting, and they took the limo, and Oscar was talking all this crap about what the company should do, and then when they put him in front of everybody, he just froze up. Like, he was a well-rounded character, and I just like Oscar because he would talk that crap. He would definitely talk that crap, but he was also scared at the same time, so it was funny. Number 7 for me is Meredith. Meredith, yeah, speaks to my heart. Just a freak, but hilarious too. And probably the character or the actress that had to do like really bear herself the most, literally and figuratively, just to do some wild stuff, some wild gags, getting hit by the car, telling people to sign her pelvis, what was it, like Casual Friday or something? Jesus, Meredith, where are your panties? I thought it was Casual Friday. Like, everything. Meredith is unapologetically herself as well, like Angela, but she didn't have the same screen time as Angela. But yeah, Meredith definitely provided for some funny gags. I like Meredith. And she just always was kind of herself. Kevin, and really I could probably put Kevin over the Meredith, but this is where I got it. So Kevin is number 8, and Kevin wasn't fully dimensional. Eventually they started giving him like the music thing and all that, but still it was just like, he was just kind of the one tone. Oh, he's the dumb guy who's an accountant, and so that's funny. It definitely has its moments. Kevin, obviously you think about the chili. That was funny. But then you also, at least for me, I forgot who it was. I don't remember if it was Holly or it was someone that was new. And they thought Kevin was mentally handicapped. So that episode, that was hilarious. She's just like talking to Kevin, like, she was like, don't talk to him like that. I think that was Holly. That crap was funny. That was funny. So Kevin's my number 8. Number 9 is Stanley. Stanley's kind of very one tone as well, but he makes for some good moments. He's just kind of grumpy Stanley. I do like when they kind of made him have an affair too. That was kind of funny. And no, I can't really think too much about Stanley outside of him being grumpy and stuff. I don't know if he ever had those moments, but obviously you had some real funny moments. The moment when he snapped on Michael, have you lost your mind, and like all that. And it was kind of the angry black man thing, but everybody knows Stanley. He was kind of that realist as well, and so he was pretty funny. 10, I got Creed. Creed is my number 10. Very much a gag related character, like just the weirdo guy that nobody knows about, that's old and just getting by, and then they randomly do stuff. I love when Creed I love when he showed up later at the wedding, or the last episode with the big wedding, and because before that it was like Creed died, and, and then he came back, had a different identity. That was just perfectly Creed. But the thing about not having a lot of screen time and being a gag character is that when you do have a gag, it hits kind of hard, and Creed was always just ridiculous. Number 11, I got Phyllis. I like Phyllis. Definitely a low-key freak as well. But Phyllis, she's cool. Just kind of that shy. What did she go to school with Michael? And then she was just like kind of the sweetheart girl. But her and, what is it, Van? Or Vance? Whatever her husband is. Yeah, they was out here being freaks. That was hilarious. Number 12, which might shock people because probably people have a lot higher, is Pam. Similar to Jim, not my type of personality, but I like the character. Obviously, a lot of good moments, but she was a little bit of a douche. She was a little bit selfish and self-centered. I didn't really like that part about her. And so she was just a little bit of a douche. Like, it was, and it's a weird hill for me to get on because everybody, talks about the PC-ness of The Office. And so we just kind of we gotta let it be comedy. But at the end of the day, she was just like a douche to people that she didn't think were normal or whatever. And she was a little bit whiny, and she played Jim too much. I don't know. Maybe my man's go through too many hoops, but I like Pam still at the end of the day. I just, I don't know, because really, and it's fine, because like Angela, she was a douche too. But Pam was a douche, and there was nothing really else to her character. It was just like leading Jim on. And then she got with Jim, and then it was being a douche to Dwight and Michael. And then it was, it was just, I don't know. I just feel like there wasn't much more to her than that. And obviously other people think that's not true, but that's cool. 13, I got Toby Flenderson. He's not the last one. Now, obviously, Toby's the butt of the joke in the series. But honestly, I think when they use him, he's pretty funny. I mean, it's definitely a gag type thing. Like with the Strangler. Even when they got locked into the office and like Toby what did he do? Like put his hand on Pam's leg or something and he just hopped the gate. That was hilarious. So obviously he's a gag character, but because he was such the since he was such the punchline of every joke, it just hit pretty funny when they did have a good gag with him. 14, I got Kelly, annoying. Like, she's probably like every girl. Okay, I won't say that, but she's probably like a lot of people right now in 2020, except obsessed with social media and pop culture and all that. But she has some funny moments as well. And obviously she had a little more longevity. And so I like Kelly. I like her. Ryan is last for me, and these two kind of go together. So Ryan, very funny when he became like the big boss and he was in charge of Michael and all that, like funny stuff. But other than that, he was just kind of a douche and he was the intern or whatever. So yeah, I mean, Ryan, not that I dislike him, and I know BJ Novak was a big time writer for the show, but obviously for just the character, it was just like Ryan was, he was kind of there. So that's it for me. That's my rankings of the Office characters. So go to the comment section, let me know out of those 15, how would you rank them? Like I said, to me the middle is a lot harder than the top and the bottom, but let me know. So share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for listening.